Lunchtime, 2 Chronicles chapter 19. And Jehoshaphat, the sovereign of Yehuda, returned to his house in peace in Jerusalem. And Jehu, son of Hanani the seer, went out to face him, and said to sovereign Jehoshaphat, "Do you help the wrong and love those who hate Jehovah? Therefore the wrath of Jehovah is upon you. But good matters are found in you, in that you have removed the Asheroth from the land, and have prepared your heart to seek Elohim." So Jehoshaphat dwelt in Jerusalem, and he went out again among the people from Be'er-sheba to the hill country of Ephraim, and brought them back to Jehovah, Elohim of their fathers. And he appointed judges in the land, in all the walled cities of Yehuda, city by city, and said to the judges, "Watch what you are doing, for you do not judge for man, but for Jehovah, who is with you in the matter of right ruling. And now, let the fear of Jehovah be upon you. Guard and do it, for there is no unrighteousness with Jehovah our Elohim, nor partiality, nor taking of bribes." In Jerusalem, Jehoshaphat also appointed some of the Levites and priests and some of the chief fathers of Israel for the right ruling of Jehovah and for dispute. Then they returned to Jerusalem. And he commanded them, saying, "Do this in the fear of Jehovah, trustworthily and with a perfect heart. When any dispute comes to you from your brothers who dwell in their cities, between blood and blood, between Torah and command, laws and right rulings, then you shall warn them, lest they trespass against Jehovah, and wrath come upon you and your brothers. Do this, and you shall not be guilty. And look, Amariyahu, the chief priest, is over you in all matters of Jehovah, and Zebadiyahu, son of Yishmael, the ruler of the house of Yehuda, for all matters of the sovereign, and the Levites are officials before you. Be strong and do, and Jehovah is with the good." And after this it came to be that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon came in, and with them some of the peoples against Jehoshaphat to battle. And they came and spoke to Jehoshaphat, saying, "A great army is coming against you from beyond the sea, from Aram, and see, they are in Hatzatzon, Tamar, which is En-gedi." And Jehoshaphat was afraid, and set his face to Jehovah, and proclaimed a fast throughout all Yehuda. And Yehuda gathered to inquire of Jehovah, even from the cities of Yehuda they came to seek Jehovah. And Jehoshaphat stood in the assembly of Yehuda and Jerusalem in the house of Jehovah in front of the new courtyard, and said, "O Jehovah, Elohim of our fathers, are you not Elohim in the heavens? And do you not rule over all the reigns of the nations? And in your hand is there not power and might, so that no one is able to stand against you? And are you not our Elohim? You have driven out the inhabitants of this land before your people Yisrael, and gave it to the seed of Abraham, who loves you forever. And they dwell in it, and have built you a set-apart place in it for your name, saying, The evil does come upon us, such as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or scarcity of food. We shall stand before this house and in your presence, for your name is in this house, and cry out to you in our distress, and you do hear and save. And now, see, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom you would not let Israel invade when they came out of the land of Mizraim, for they turned from them and did not destroy them. And see, they are repaying us by coming in to drive us out of your possession, which you have given us to inherit. O our Elohim, would you not judge them? For we are powerless against this great army that is coming against us, and we do not know what to do, but our eyes are upon you. And all Yehuda with their little ones, their wives, and their children stood before Jehovah. And the Spirit of Jehovah came upon Yahaziel, son of Zechariah, son of Benaiah, son of Yehiel, son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, in the midst of the assembly. And he said, Listen, all Yehuda, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem, and sovereign Jehoshaphat. Thus said Jehovah to you, Do not fear, nor be afraid of the face of this great army, for the battle is not yours, but Elohim's. Now go against them tomorrow. See, they are coming up by the ascent of Sitz, and you shall find them at the end of the wadi before the wilderness of Yeruel. It is not for you to fight in this. Position yourselves. Stand still and see the deliverance of Jehovah with you. O Yehuda and Jerusalem, do not be afraid nor fear. Go out against them tomorrow, for Jehovah is with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell down before Jehovah, to bow themselves before Jehovah. And the Levites of the children of the Kehathites and of the children of the Korites stood up to praise Jehovah, Elohim of Israel, with exceedingly loud voice. And they rose early in the morning, and went out into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went out, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Yehuda, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Trust in Jehovah your Elohim, and be steadfast. Trust his prophets and prosper. And after consulting with the people, he appointed those who should sing to Jehovah, and who should praise the splendor of set-apartness, as they went out before the army and were saying, Give thanks to Jehovah, for his loving commitment is everlasting. And when they began singing and praising Jehovah, set ambushes against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, who had come against Yehuda, and they were smitten. And the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir to destroy and annihilate them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, they helped to destroy one another. And when Yehuda came, at the lookout in the wilderness, they looked toward the army and saw their dead bodies lying on the ground, and none had escaped. And Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away their spoil. And they found among them a great amount of valuables on the dead bodies and precious jewelry, which they stripped off for themselves, more than they could take away. And they were 3 days plundering the spoil, for it was much. And on the 4th day they assembled in the valley of Berakah, for there they blessed Jehovah. Therefore the name of that place was called the valley of Berakah to this day. Then they returned, every man of Yehuda and Jerusalem, with Jehoshaphat in front of them, to go back to Jerusalem with joy, for Jehovah had made them rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with harps and lyres and trumpets, to the house of Jehovah. And the fear of Elohim was on all the reigns of the lands, when they heard that Jehovah had fought against the enemies of Israel. And the reign of Jehoshaphat was at peace, for his Elohim gave him rest on all sides. Thus Jehoshaphat reigned over Yehuda 35 years when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in the way of his father, Asa, and did not turn aside from it, doing what was right in the eyes of Jehovah. Only the high places were not taken away, for as yet the people had not prepared their hearts for the Elohim of their fathers. And the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, the first and the last, see, they are written in the book of Jehu, son of Hanani, which is mentioned in the book of the sovereigns of Israel. And after this Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Yehuda, joined himself with Ahaziah, sovereign of Israel. he did wrong in doing so. And he joined himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish, and they made the ships in Etzion Geber. And Eleazar, son of Dodavahu of Merashah, prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, Because you have joined yourself with Ahazyahu, Jehovah shall break up your work. And the ships were wrecked, so that they were unable to go to Tarshish.